it is raining, so it might be very difficult to hear me talk. It's raining outside, but there is a few different things that I didn't show you in the first part. I'm just going to quickly go over some of those in this video. So, first of all, it would be just a couple more basics with fixed point. Just some more of the basic angles you need to know. These apply to tutting, and tutting is pretty much isolation fixed point related style, but it also applies to other styles too. So as you know, we're going to talk a little bit more about planes here. Planes are anatomical planes. If you don't know what anatomical plane is, it's pretty much all of these angles in front. So these are your planes here. And then, yeah, obviously, these angles are very important for tutting and fixed point, many other styles too. So anatomical planes, understanding those will make a difference. You also do have not just those, these are pretty self-explanatory angles, but you have these angles here too though, right? So this plane here is right in front of you. That plane can be used pretty much however you want. So you've got to understand perspective to understand fixed point as well. So this is also going to be a little bit about perspective I'm going to teach you as well. So this plane here, just imagine there's a line going like this, okay? This line never changes. Boom, that line stays. It stays here. Now my arm is still fixed to this line. Now watch what happens if I just rotate a little bit more. Now the back of my arm is now along this line, okay? So now this line here stays. That's still there. So watch how just by changing perspective you can also change where it's fixed. It's fixed here. Now it's this line here, this line, like so, okay? So you can go like this, this, boom, boom, boom. Okay? Now, you gotta understand these planes here, right? So, these are a little bit more difficult to understand because they're not as used, okay? These lower angles, not used as often. But they do exist. You'll see they exist like this. They exist like this. So you can use these planes down here, and even you'll find a lot of the time your knee is rotating on this same plane as well, because this plane here is still there. Okay? So just because you're using your arms, it doesn't mean that plane has to be with your arms only. It is also, like, you can use your leg along that plane, right? Okay, so that plane here it does exist. Same with this plane here, above your head. Same type of thing. You're going to turn and you'll notice that plane is still there. Above the head, right? still exists. Okay, so understanding how those angles look from different perspectives matters as well. So when you change your body positioning, you've got to know how they all look. So a lot of these angles are done with that above plane. So just because you are like this doesn't mean, well, actually I should say you have this angle here in front, but that changes when you go like this or like that, right? So you will notice how you can actually change that perspective quite a lot, because the perspective from here is a lot different than the perspective from there too. Because you might want to be in a position where you're like this, and then you want to change that like this, okay? So knowing how you can use that plane above your head too matters, and then also knowing how to do this. I just very basic drill, the squares. Okay, once you have these squares, now turn with it. Okay, you can do that. Now try turn like this. Okay. Pretty simple. Same thing here. Okay. And now we're going to get a little bit more complicated. This is more about perspective too. So this angle here, it also can be done leaning down. So now you're getting into changing perspective quite a lot. Okay, now let's see what it looks like this. Okay. So perspective does make a huge difference. So how can you use that? You can, instead of doing this, try lean while doing this, okay? Basic, fair enough. So now lean, and then try to do that. Okay? Perspective. Now, we can talk a little bit more about this. So, turning your body to change this perspective, right? Look, this is really difficult because your lines have to be perfect. So, you can turn your body like that, right? Your arms can also do this while you're leaning. So this is another way you can do that kind of thing, those planes, while leaning now. So let's try this. So try and figure out how you can use these lines in a different type of way, right? Because now it opens you up to so many different angles. Okay. that's just pretty much the range of motion for your body is this, right? Turning, 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 turning. Side. So if you weren't doing that, it would just look like turning your body, leaning your body, like that. Okay? Turn, 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 turn. Now, back. These are best done on your back like this. So like, you have these different angles like this. So what am I doing there? I'm pretty much just turning my body and fixing the lines, okay? So you can understand this a little bit more simple like this. If you want to train it like this. Okay, these lines are pretty much just moving like this. Boom, boom, boom. Like that. Okay? And I think there might be an easier way to show you like this. Okay. Like this, okay? This is a pretty good way to show you. You see the way my arms can move from this position here. Don't mind what my legs are doing, because my legs just don't have enough room to move. But basically, it's like this. Okay? So once you understand that range of motion, it makes things a lot easier. And you can do that without being on the ground. So again, lean like this. Boom. Okay, just watch this one arm, okay? Because the range of motion just depends on perspective. And these angles do take a lot longer to get the hang of, because they're very awkward angles. So again, okay, another thing you can do, like this, from here, get used to doing this, okay? here, turn, turn. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then turn. So these are all square principle again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, turn. Okay? So knowing how you can do this, okay? So yes, you can turn them both at the same time, but you can, this is quite hard to do. If you have the flexibility, you can do angles like this, where you are able to like make right angles. It's very difficult to do that. So from here, again, you can turn with these angles, and that's what gets me into this next concept. It's more of like a rotor motion, a rotating motion, okay? So from here, you're gonna be like joining elbows like that, okay? So from here, you just have to slide up a little bit more to create this new line, right? This new line looks like this. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. And these are rotor motions. Okay? And you can not thread, but you can go like a full rotation in and out. If you have short arms like me, you can do that. Maybe don't wear a necklace if you're doing that. The reason why these are good, because you can do motions like this. It does increase your range of motion, so you might have to put your head back a little bit, like so. That. Okay, so I'm just doing this. It's like pretty much this motion here, but you can add the extra roll in there like this if you want, just for some extra effect. It looks pretty cool. You see how it looks like a helicopter kind of motion? That's not really fixed point doing this, but you could make that fixed point by breaking that motion down a little bit more. You see, and then it becomes more like a fixed point motion when you do it like that. Okay. And another thing is pendulum style, which is pretty much like, what is a pendulum? You're hitting one thing, and then it's sending that, it's just like a domino effect, okay? Domino effect. Let's think about it like a domino effect. Okay, so these can be used in a variety of ways. They can be used like this. Just hitting one arm and then using that rotor motion. So the rotor is like that. If you want, you could hit it like this and send it that way. Okay. And if you're flexible, you can even hit your two elbows together like this. I can't touch the two elbows together like that, but if you could touch elbow and elbow together, you could even do these angles where this elbow hits that elbow, and then you're like sending it like that. Instead, you could do it like this, which is just a little bit easier. Okay, and then from each of those pendulum motions, you can either use your hands to hit your elbow down, or you can use your hands to hit this. So this is just hitting the hand, which looks a little bit different than hitting the elbow. Hitting the elbow is like that. Hitting the hand is like that. So hand, elbow, hand, elbow. And now the other way, you go elbow up, or okay. So pendulum also used like this. Okay? You can go one like that. So you're not necessarily hitting it, but it's still like a clock, like you're following that motion, right? And then if you were to use it with your leg like this, you see how you can get a little bit more complex when you do stuff like that. Okay? Or similar thing from perspective, like this. 1, 2, 3. Like. Okay? So you're just using this motion here. Okay. So this is a little bit harder to do, where you might want your arm down like this, right? Boom. Anyway, you get the idea of pendulum. Pendulum style, your legs go like side to side. Okay. Forwards, backwards, side to side. Okay. And is there any other way? I guess you can do your knee as well. Okay, so your knee can be used like the pendulum. Any other way? I guess you can use your hands too, like this. So let's figure this out. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. You can evolve that a little more, where you can go into it like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, like this. I think you go 1, 2, 3, 4, like this, okay? So once you know how to do that kind of motion, you can play around pendulums like that. And even behind the head as well. Okay. So that's another way you can use your pendulum style. I'll just quickly move on to the next thing, which is robot. Actually, before I go robot, we'll go strutting. So strutting, obviously this is a way you can use fixed point with strutting. The strutting arms, everyone knows the strutting arms, like this. Okay. Simple, but you can get more advanced with that too. So strutting, you can go like this, sorry. So you're still using your fixed point, but in this case, we're just going to turn the body with the arm. So my hand is going to stay on the same plane, right? I'm still using this plane here. It's still like one straight plane. Okay, but this time we're going to be doing it like this. And you can break down that motion I said like that as well. You can break down that motion even more. Okay, and from here, you can do your it's almost like a twisto flex, but I just call it turning. Okay, and from there, you can go keep this one arm fixed, and you just like turning with one arm. And then that looks pretty cool when you do it down low. So you notice how strutting does use a lot of these fixed point angles as well. Okay, and you can also go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the arms of strutting definitely do matter, because you can turn your body with the fixed point, right? And then you can get styles like this. Not styles, sorry, I mean fixed point like this, because these are new angles you're working with. These are more like your diagonal lines. And then you change it. And now you can get into like some cross arms. messed that up, sorry. But you can do these as well. These can be used for like waving. So you can send the wave for this arm out here. Or you can wave like this. So you can just do some perspective and change the body angles, right? Or you might want to break down some of these angles just by leaning and using your legs a lot. Okay? From each of these angles where you lean down, try and turn. Because turning just makes it look a little bit better instead of staying on that one plane all the time. And I think now we can move on to robot. A little bit about robot, okay? So robot is pretty much fixed spine. So with robot, the fixed point is going to be mainly bending with a straight back. Okay, straight legs. Robot has a very straight legs a lot of the time, straight body, straight back, straight angles. Okay, and when you come down, you have a few options for the legs, right? You can bend at the knee, and then you can get into like this angle here. And really watch the legs, what's happening. One knee bends, this knee bends. Okay? So these are still very much fixed points. And then from here, obviously this gets you into this angle, right? So 1, 2, 3, okay? So that's pretty much the basics with the knees with robot. The knees and legs with robot is really bending like that. Although you can lift your knees up like this, right? Or you could add a little like pivot of your feet like that. So robot does have a lot of like pivoting with the feet as well. So that's another fixed point thing, is knowing how to turn. It's a bit hard to do it on shoes in this kind of carpet, but pretty much it's heel toe. Well, I'm on the balls of my feet. Like that, or you can do the heels. So like this. You can do one heel, one ball, like that. And robot style is mainly just about very small movements, right? So a little lean to the side, a little lean forwards, so like to the side, forwards, to the side, back, okay? So these will make your robot look better, okay? Like a little lean to the side. A little turn, a little lean. Okay, so now to get on to the arms. Robot is very basic arm movement, okay? In and out like this. It's pretty much just your basic rotor motion. so robot does have these rotor motions as well. They're just very mechanical when you do them. So it'd either be like this, or it'll be like this. So turning in and out like that. Or it'll be like that, okay? So like this. Okay, so robot looks a lot better when you, like I said, add the small movements. So instead of just doing big, large movements like that, you can add like a little turn of the wrist. And you look how small all these movements are. Where you might just go 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm still fixing points here. I'm just adding either a little turn, I might be leaning a little bit, or I might be doing this with my hands, right? So I use this a lot with robot. I go in, out. Now I use these elbow movements a lot, okay? Because if you do it fast, like, so like, up and down, robot does this, okay? These up and down motions. And just a little turn with that makes it look like, you can see my feet better if I do it like this. Add a little lean with it. And now add a turn of it, okay? Okay, and now try and add this motion here, in, out, down. Okay, so another thing about robot is using the isolations of the lower arm and the upper arm separately. Once you're really good at using these two limbs separately, it makes a big difference. Like you can go another thing, you can use popping with robot, okay? You can use like, because robot can come up like that. So if I go, so your robot could be going pop, 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 boom, boom. So the robot could be moving in such a way that's like almost like human, but a little bit more mechanical. So like the robot could be like trying to walk. or it could slide the foot. So what am I doing here exactly? I'm doing this. It is a fixed point. It's like that fixed point thing I told you, where you're doing that. Anyway, my battery is almost dead, so I'm gonna just wrap the video up here after I quickly just show you this. Slide, slide, and now turn. And then just another thing I was going to say was you can use your tightening angles with robot too. Just make it more mechanical, like boom. So when you do robot, make it more mechanical. You might want to go doom, doom. Anyway, that's a little bit about robot. Yeah, anyway, I'll make a part 3 or something soon. So thanks for watching. Peace.